Impro Theatre and the cast and crew of this online performance would like to take this time to honor the indigenous peoples of the ancestral and unceded homelands we each inhabit, and to consider the legacy of colonization and its far-reaching effects.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Chekhov Anthology, improvised short stories in the style of the great Russian author and playwright Anton Chekhov, under the direction of Impro company member Mike Rock. We are one of two current performance lab ensembles at Impro Theatre, and we're excited to present this very special improvised theater experience that explores the literary side of Chekhov's works. Anton Pavlovich Chekhov wrote over 500 short stories, over 500, 16 plays, a novel, 5 novellas. He was so prolific. Our stories will be set in the late 1800s Russia and include narration as we explore the sights, sounds, and characters from that era. Everything you hear is completely improvised. On the spot, we have no preset characters, no plot. It is all being invented right before your very eyes and ears. Now, to inspire our stories for tonight, this afternoon, we would like to put some suggestions, have you put some suggestions in the YouTube chat right now. Could you please provide in the chat an occupation from the 1800s Russia or a view out the window of a Russian estate? One of those two things. And while you're busy typing, let's meet our cast.
Afternoon, I'm Rick Stedman.
Hello, I'm Leona Dindal.
Good day, I'm Allison Inconstanti.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Quinn.
Happy afternoon, I'm Lauren Baumbauer.
And I am still Andrew Pavlovich Pierce. Chris, our mighty director of technology, do we have a suggestion?
Yes, your first suggestion for today is a tailor of men's clothing.
A tailor of men's clothing. Thank you for your suggestion, and welcome to Chekhov Anthology.
Because you are a liar, Marfa. I do not believe you, Marfa. You are a liar. You are mendacious. You are dissembling. You are not to be trusted. You are lacking in trustworthiness. You are a liar, Marfa.
I find you quite rude.
And I find you dishonest.
Ah! Well, I should go throw myself into the river, shouldn't I? Then my death would be upon your hands, and then how would you feel?
I feel that if you're telling me that your death is on my hands, I can rest assured that it isn't, because you are a liar.
Marfa Stepanova and Zakhar Pushkin were rival tailors and seamstresses, respectively. They each had a shop across the street from one another in Vologda, and every day, most days, they would open their doors to the townspeople. Marfa specialized in women's clothing and Zakhar in men's clothing, and they often quarreled with one another about who was more honest, who was best at their job, who had the better training, and so on and so on. Marfa felt that because women's clothes were more delicate and complicated, that she was the better of their profession, a better seamstress who had studied under the great Madame Zelinka. Zakhar felt that because men needed to put on quite a display, they had very important matters to attend to, they had very important professions, that his work was of more importance, because men had to be seen in public much more often than women in many more occasions. And every day in the town of Vologda, Zakhar Pushkin and Marfa Stepanova quarreled over many things related to tailoring, seamstressing, and others.
I was just thinking that it is a wonder that you can just continue sewing when I am glaring at you, and that is how unaware you are of how you make people feel.
Every day at noon, Martha Stepanovna would go to Zakhar Pushkin's tailoring shop. She would look at him, and she would find some reason to pick a fight with him, whether it was his thread was not up to par, or his stitching was bad, or he does not get enough foot traffic in his store. She would find something. The lighting was not good. The store did not smell good. She always found a reason to argue.
Am I to understand that you have feelings now, Marfa? That I somehow irritate those feelings that you now have? Is that what I am to believe?
As I said, you are rude.
You are the human equivalent of pinking shears. You are small and not that useful, easily replaced, and even more easily lost.
Well, you are the equivalent of a needle whose eye is too small. Seeing nothing, difficult to work with, and might as well just throw it away. Get a new one.
You are a bolt of burlap.
The personal insults would hurl back and forth and back. Even though these two clothing professionals had worked together in the same town for years and years, they couldn't help but to be drawn to each other and throw insults. Perhaps there was something else behind them, though.
Every day when Marfa Stepanova came to work at her shop, which was at the corner of Great Tsar Alexander Boulevard and Cardinal Samsonov Avenue, right at the corner, she would look kitty corner across the street at the shop of Zakhar Pushkin. And every day, a cloud formed over her eyes about his presence there. He had opened just 2 months after she had set up shop there, as if to try and pull business from her. Even though he specialized in men's garments, he would often offer repairs of women's garments.
Returning to your original statement, your original claim, Zakhar, I was not lying when I said that you intentionally left that cart in front of your shop to trip me.
It is your cart!
And that was all Zakhar could say in response to that remark from Marfa. Several weeks went by until one morning, the Vologda Gazette announced that the Minister of Culture and his wife would be coming to Vologda to honor the town with a plaque. Many in the townspeople, all the townspeople, hurried to get their shops ready and to dress their windows and to make sure that whatever the minister and his wife needed, they would be provided. As the minister and his wife were walking through the town on Great Alexander Tsar Boulevard, they noticed the two shops, Marfa's seamstress shop and Zakhar's tailor shop. And as luck would have it, the minister's button had just popped off.
Oh,
Zakhar and Marfa each saw this, and even though Marfa does not handle men's clothing, she took it upon herself to run out into the street to greet the minister and his wife to help with this button.
Pesha, you have lost a button from your coat.
yes, Tatiana, I have. Did you see where it rolled?
Oh, I see it. I see it right here.
Minister, that button has now been in the gutter. You are clearly above a gutter button. Allow me to replace that button with a fine new button.
Oh, Minister, surely you would wish to have the same button replaced back on your coat, for it already matches your coat.
It had begun, the danse macabre. And oh, did everyone know that it had begun? For they were out on the streets, in public, no longer fighting within their shops. No, 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 no. This was the beginning of the townspeople with their wares outside their shops, presenting themselves in their finest clothing, their jewelry, to be presentable for the Minister of Finance and his wife. Belogda was present, attentive, leaning forward ever so slightly, interested in the bloodbath about to begin of cutting words that are sharper than shears.
Minister, pay no attention to this bolt of burlap, for she is a liar. She says that this is your button, but I saw her bring that button out of her own pocket. It is a counterfeit, and it is poorly made. It is an Estonian button, Minister, not a good Russian button.
Please, Minister, pay no attention to this stick of a man sticking out of the mud. He does not know what he speaks of. He has, some say he has gone mad, as he likes to leave carts and debris out in the road to trip other people, hopefully to hurt them, cause them to break a leg. Why would you entrust a man such as this to sew a button back on your jacket?
Minister, this large, undusted, musty room is not to be heard. She claims that I am a madman, but if I am mad, I am driven mad by her mendacity and utter lack of worthiness.
The Velodians had started to place bets among one another, passing on pieces of meat or even their own strings and buttons from themselves to determine, who did they think would come out the victor? Would someone actually stick the needle in? Would they actually go for blood? Would there be real destruction of words? Would the Minister of Culture be brought in? How was it going to go? The crowd was rearing up, creating a low hum, 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 buzz, 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 buzz.
Minister, you would not want this half a rat carcass stuck in a trap to reattach your button. Here, I have a needle and some thread right here in my pocket. I shall do it for you right now. Do lean forward, sir.
No, Minister, do not allow this untrustworthy immigrant to touch your fine wardrobe. She is one who I swear by this chalk, by my father's chalk, Minister, by my father's good chalk, that I am the one to affix your button.
Pesha, my little Shishki, perhaps we should leave this town. It seems altogether unhinged. Perhaps our own tailor could do a more superior job than these people. I fear for our lives.
I agree with you, Tatiana. We shall take our leave of this town forthwith. And no one stop touching my vest. Away, away. Come, Tatiana.
Well, I hope that you are happy now.
Look what you have done.
Martha,
you have done. You have driven away the minister.
You know it. How dare you? How dare you? A future of riches and opportunity laid before me, and you trample that road into the dirt.
I shall report you both to the local authorities of Vologda for what you have done.
What?
Driving away the Minister of Culture.
Why? We have done
Nothing.
We have done nothing to deserve being reported to the authorities.
Clearly, this woman is a mad woman.
Yes, I bet she walks about town screaming at every passerby that she shall report them to the authorities.
I should imagine she wakes in the morning thinking, who shall I report to the authorities today?
Exactly.
As each peasant and business owner and family member of Belogda passed by them and spit in their general direction, Marfa Stepanovna and Zakhar Pushkin weaved and slowly threaded their own strings together in some form of a dance that wasn't quite as painful as before. It became a little calmer, a little smoother, the ends of the fabric less frayed.
No one should trust such a terrible human as she. Why, less than human, yes?
I agree. And speaking of less than human, that minister and his wife.
Ah, beastly, beastly. Let us insult them over tea, shall we?
Oh, I would enjoy that very much. Let us go.
The couple headed off to the local tea shop where they sat across from each other at a small table, sipping black tea and gazing into each other's eyes. From that point on, they did not meet in their tailor shops, but would meet every day at the tea shop and would replace their quarreling and arguing with the sipping of tea and the laughing together.
The lesson, I think, is the enemy of my enemy makes us friends. I think that is the lesson to take from that. You go back and watch it again. Let me know if I got that right. Chris, do we have an idea, a suggestion for our second story?
Yes, your next suggestion today is a chemist.
A chemist. All right. We take you to our story 2 of Chekhov Anthology, a chemist. The small shop was lined with shelves. Every bit of space along the left wall, the right wall, the back wall, the door to the back room had shelves upon it. Even above the front door and window, shelves up high, tiny little nooks and crannies made of wood little boxes into which tiny little jars of potions were put. Some powders, some liquids, some orange, some blue, some green, all labeled with hard to make out tiny writing, very tiny writing, the tiny writing that is of a madman, tiny little letters on each little bottle as they are stacked in the shelves there. Inside the dusty shop, a small woman puttered around, pulling things from the shelf and muttering to herself. She did not make good vocal sounds, merely just muttering to herself on the contents of the bottle, occasionally shaking her head and putting the bottles back. This woman was dressed in a white gown with a smock down her front, stained with all of the colors from the shelves, some blue powder on one sleeve, some red blotchy stain on another part, the black coal of some soot that had been used in some potion in the past. She puttered around. This was Anya Glebovich, the town chemist.
Hello, anyone here?
Oh, back here. I'm here. Yes.
Oh.
Come to the back of the shop. Why don't you?
Yes. Oh, Anya, it is I, Natalia Kasparova.
Oh,
Remember, Natalia Kasparova? You were going to make a potion for me.
I do remember you, Natalia. Natalia Kasparova, yes, yes, yes.
Oh, my humors. My bad humors.
Yes, yes, I remember. You have terrible, terrible humors, yes. Let me see. I put it somewhere. Excuse me while I go to find your prescription.
Anya Glebanova had learned her craft from her mother. Her mother had taught her from a young age which herbs cured what maladies, what potions could be combined in what quantity to make something that would alleviate pain. A headache might be cured from a sprig from a willow tree, crushed into a powder and then compacted into a paste with small bits of sugar and flour. A tumor on the hand could be addressed with some mud from a pond and some frog's blood, dipped in acidic juices from fermented wine. All of these things were things that she knew.
Ah, Natalia Kasparova, this is for you.
Talia Kasparova was a youngish woman, always very morose in temperament, always wore muted blues and grays. Today she was wearing a dark gray dress with black lace around the neck and the edges of the sleeves. She was a pale and frail woman, although she was not very old, and treated herself very gently as she moved about the world. Anything could tire her out quickly. She often had to stop and sit down and dab her forehead and her neck with a cool cloth. And she felt that she was very old, although she was not much older than 20.
So, Natalia Kasparova, this is a combination of parsley, Siberian pine, onion seed, and just a little special something I put in there. Proprietary, of course. I cannot tell you everything.
Those sound like food ingredients. I come to you for medicine, Anya Globovina. I don't mean to quibble or insult you, but the last few prescriptions you have given me have not cured my humors. I am terribly sad all the time. And if parsley can be found in my cupboard, for goodness sake.
So,
well, there's no need to look at me that way.
You undermine my expertise. You know I've been in this business a very long time now. If you're saying they are not affecting you as you expected, then we will re-look. But to demean my potions as just mere food ingredients, I've never been so disrespected.
Anya Glebonovna did not take to disrespect lightly at all. She had worked hard and diligently to be in the position she was in. She earned the black soot marks on her fingers. She earned every scent and smell that came out throughout her shop, and every potion she created was with the care of her brain. Her fingers, her body, her toes, and her own experimentation on herself that had previously led her to her own time in bed, not well at all. Her stomach gnawingly unsatisfied at times, and other times quite full and extended. Or she knew better than anyone else, Anya did, the heartache and trials she had gone through to get to where she was. Some young girl in front of her, gray and sullen. It was her own fault that she could not understand the importance of parsley.
One other trait she had learned from her mother, Venka, was her short temper.
Anya, I no longer enjoy picnics. That is a malady as far as I'm concerned.
You did not mention picnics before. And if you think my medicine is not good enough for you, well then go find the other chemist in this town. Oh wait, there is no other chemist in this town.
I suppose I thought you being a woman, you might be more sensitive to a woman's condition. I am sad all the time. I weep at the mere mention of a person's name. I look at a sunset and feel nothing. When the rain comes, it is almost a comfort that the sky is as sad as I am. These are bad humors. These are very bad humors. Anya Glebovina.
All right, then. Try this one.
Ooh, I like the color. So blue.
Yes, blue.
It was bluer than the lake outside Natalia's childhood home, and when she took it, it was slightly warmer to the touch than she had imagined. The small vial had a cork on top that could be unscrewed and pulled out, and inside the blue liquid there was some sort of particles swimming around, slightly sparkly. Interestingly, Natalia had never seen anything quite like this liquid before. It smelled of a mossy odor, but yet somehow pleasant, somehow reminiscent of running through the forest as a child. Natalia was taken aback by such a mysterious potion.
Go on, then. You try that potion. If it does not work, well, we'll try something else, but I guarantee you, this potion will work.
I shall try right now. Shall I take the entire contents?
Yes.
Truth be told, Anya Glebovina had never tried this potion before. She knew the ingredients, but she did not know how the combination would work.
It is a little bitter, but if it works, I shall endure the taste.
Very good.
I still feel a tinge sad.
But your coloring is much better. Before you were just sallow and pasty and pale, and you looked almost like a ghost. But now there is some redness to your cheeks and a little redness to your lips, a blush perhaps.
Anya held up a mirror to Natalia. It was a hand mirror, red in color, with golden swirls embedded into the frame. And Natalia looked at herself in the mirror.
Is that me?
Yes, child, that is you. Don't you see? You look much better.
I don't recognize myself. I'm not certain. I like what I see. I miss the snows and the water and my horse, my childhood horse. Do you have, I feel a little ill. May I use, do you have a lavatory or basin or something out back?
Out back, yes.
Anya thought through the ingredients of what she had put into the blue potion with the sparkly bit on top. The sparkly bit, of course, had been a cluster of glass molecules pulled together into a shiny star shape through the melting of a furnace. The glass, she had sanded it. It should be not rough. It should not have caused any discomfort to poor Natalia. So it could not be that. The blue was from simply blue cacao liqueur. It was merely something to hide the taste of the mercury, which was the core substance inside this potion. It made it go down so much easier. She thought, but no, mercury has been used now to get rid of the spirits for so long. It could not be the mercury. Perhaps it was the bit of turnip juice. The turnips had looked a little peaked when she had squeezed them, but they could not have had this quick an effect, could they?
Children these days, they don't take you for your experience. They're off having their own feelings, despite what you do for them. Oh,
I'm afraid I expelled the potion. I don't think it works. Anya Glebovina, I mean no disrespect, but it came right back out of me. Surely my body is rejecting it. That means it does not work, and I must continue to be sad. There is no cure for my sadness.
Anya Glebovina's anger was not a coiled serpent awaiting strike, and still until then. Her anger was a glacier, inexorable, almost invisibly slow, but unstoppable once provoked.
you have disparaged my work on more than one occasion. Perhaps the problem is not my potions, it is your frame of mind. If you don't expect things to work, they will not work. How dare you come in here?
Are you saying I belong in an asylum?
I don't believe the words "you belong in an asylum" came out of my mouth. I said, you need to think better of these things, to have some hope, to have faith in me and my process, which will obviously help you. You're not getting better is just causes my potions not to work.
So this is my fault, because my brain does not work in a way that you think accepts your potions.
Well, you have spoken these words. They are true.
Anya felt herself transported to childhood, looking up at her mother, Venka. Her mother saying similar words to her in a similar fashion, with the anger etched on her face in hardened lines and wrinkles, lips tightened with their own wrinkles themselves, withered, gnarly, pure anger in the style of a hellhound coming out of her voice in a concentrated, pinpointed, arrow-like manner to Anya's very soul. She had become her mother.
Well, I do not accept your explanation. I cannot help that I feel sad all the time. There is no connection between my feelings and my mental state. They are completely separate. And to imply that it is my fault because I do not believe in things, that believe in your potions to work, that they will not work, then what do I need of your potions for? What good is a chemist if a chemist only can rely on a patient's belief to make the potions work? How that makes no sense to me, Anya Glebovina. You went to school, to science, to learn these things, and yet, good day.
Anya stood in her shop, remembering how her mother had carefully taught her how to mix herbs, how to grind them, how to mull spices, how to combine ingredients, the fragrant aromas swirling around them. And she remembered that she did not like these lessons with her mother, her hellhound of a mother, and that she had arranged her whole life around perpetuating these lessons and these remedies for people that perhaps did not even work. She felt that the shop was just a structure standing in reminder of how her life had been wasted.
She thought of what she could do next. She could close down the store and sell the bottles and spices and potions for their value, but who would buy? There was no other chemist in town. She would have to stay open. She would have to continue to sell potions to all the local people that they might hopefully be cured with it. But if what her last customer, Natalia Kasparova, had said is true, then there was no remedies in her potions. Her mother had simply been what? Making it up as she went along? Picking any bit of root or fruit and putting it together into a potion? Telling her that she had to get better when she was sick in bed and having one of her mother's potions? This is what she would sell to everyone in town. She would be knowingly giving them false cures. But her mother had been too smart. There's no possibility that she could have been wrong. Why, no, what she was doing was right. The store must stay open. People must have the remedies. They will come to me. They will feel better. This is how I must go. Take your medicine if you know what's good for you. That's the moral of that story. And sometimes belief in the medicine, like a placebo, will make it work. That's what I think she was bringing to the town. That and mercury poisoning. Hey, what about our third story for tonight, for this afternoon? Do we have another suggestion, Mr. Chris Dion?
We sure do. Your final suggestion for today is a stable of horses.
A stable of horses. Thank you. Please welcome back to our third story of Chekhov Anthology.
The wind blew through the clapboard of the stable, chilling Tatiana Ivanovna as she worked, brushing down the horses. She enjoyed the quiet wind. She enjoyed the quiet work. She was a peaceful, earnest soul, one who understood horses perhaps more easily than she would people. She looked into the soulful eyes of the mares and stallions and foals and felt she understood them. She knew that there was a simplicity to their existence, and it was a simplicity to which she aspired as well. Each day she would rise with the sun, make her way out to the stable, and begin tending to the horses, as was her job. And each day, with the sunset, she would make her way inside to a simple meal. She was a young girl still, only 16 years old, with beautiful auburn locks and a somewhat plain but likable face. She could tend so easily to the horses because she was patient.
Oh, Goldie, you don't need to eat so much, do you?
No.
There's no need to eat so fast. You have all of the time in the world. If only others could see that about anything else as well.
No.
Exactly. They don't. We have all of the time in the world. There's no need to eat so fast or to drink so quickly, to not enjoy the taste of the fruit on the tongue Or for you? I brought you an apple. Ah.
There were many horses for Tatiana Ivanovna to tend to, as this was the stable belonging to the local governor, and he was an owner of quite a few horses, a full score of them. As such, tending to the horses was her only occupation. She had been doing so since she was 11 years old, so she felt a certain expertise. As day in, day out, she spoke almost exclusively to the horses. To the large mare, Goldie, to the small foal, whom she had named Petrov after the local serving boy, to the stallion, who she named Nicholas for the Tsar. She had connected and formed relationships with each of these horses at a level that one might assume was reserved exclusively for family. To Tatiana Ivanovna, these horses were family.
Petrov, you too. You're small and fast, but no need for eating so quickly yourself. I do believe you have gotten stronger. Yes, you have. Oh, Goldie's just jealous of your speed. You have been slow, Goldie. You have.
When Tatiana Ivanovna was young, her very first experience with horses was running out to a parade going through town. The generals and soldiers, all mounted on their horses, prancing with such precision going by, completely took her. She was amazed and mesmerized as horse after horse came by, prancing with high front knee, high back hoof raised. The clip clop in perfect unison with the horse beside it gave her a sense of order for the first time in her life. These animals were majestic. They were huge. They were able to carry these brilliantly polished soldiers upon their backs. This was a magical animal. This was what she needed to do with her life.
Oh, Nicholas, don't you get jealous. No, 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 for you, of course, the brawniest of them all. You're due to be walked later. Yes, indeed, the governor himself is going to prance with you.
Tatiana Ivanovna, are those horses ready yet for the governor?
Unobserved in the doorway had stood Olga Fyodorevna, the housekeeper, undisputed head of the household staff. She was a churlish woman, mean-spirited, one who ought to tend exclusively to animals. Not that the animals would deserve such treatment, but should not be put in a position of power over others, as is so often the case with mean-spirited people. She had ascended to a position of authority almost effortlessly through her cruel disposition and ability to blame others.
I have told you many times not to dawdle when taking care of the horses. You treat them as if they are like people. They are horses. They are meant to carry people and stock and load things. They are creatures. Why do you dote on them as if they were a sibling or a companion of some sort? The governor is waiting, Tatiana.
Olga Fyodorevna, they are quite ready. And they are ready in their own time, which the governor would appreciate rather than hurried or in a mind of tension, as people tend to bring into the stable.
So now you know the governor's state of mind, do you? Do you understand how busy the governor of Poltava is? Do you understand how important things are right now in Poltava? We are expecting new merchants. We are expecting a new rail station. The governor is very busy, and you have the audacity. Oh, God. They are not clean. I can smell the stench. My goodness, get them ready right away.
Coincidentally, Olga Fyodorovna had been at that same parade. She had run out to see the horses as well, but as she came too close to one of the horses, it had reared up above her. It had put her in such a fear, such a state of terror, that she no longer trusted anyone. She thought the only way she survived was through her own wits, scrambling back from the horse as it clawed the air, looking for all the world like a giant serpent from the sea coming out to grab her. She feared for her life. She pulled back and fell down some concrete stone steps behind her into an alleyway. She got away with barely her life intact.
Governor Cherkasov, I have, the horses will be ready soon. I do apologize, Governor Cherkasov. I've scolded Tatiana. I even know, but I've scolded her and told her to hurry, sir.
No scolding is necessary, Olya. We will be ready to depart when the horses are ready.
Of course, Governor Cherkasov. I just know how important your day is today, and I just wanted to make sure that Tatiana knew that. That is all.
Horses cannot be readied at the flip of a switch as one would my new sewing machine.
Governor Cherkasov. Well, shall I pack some biscuits or shushkis for your trip?
Shushkis would be much appreciated, Olya.
Very good, sir.
Governor Cherkasov was a kind and gentle man, and though he was old enough that he should have lines on his face, he had none, because he hardly ever frowned. He often could be seen sitting up in his window reading a book to the glow of candlelight, smoking his pipe, and he believed that one should take their time in life and enjoy every little moment that life had to offer.
Governor Cherkasov, I do apologize. I seem to be out of the pastry that goes on the shushki that you like. I'm terribly sorry, but I'm mortified that I forgot it.
Olya, that is fine. We shall take some biscuits on the journey.
Very good, sir. I do you want me to check on the horses, on Tatiana? I'm happy to do whatever you need me to do, Governor Cherkasov.
Yes, I'm certain that the horses will be ready soon. If you are able to rustle up some marzipan, it would not go awry.
Anything for you, Governor Cherkasov. I know how important you are, how busy you are, how distinguished you must look today. I shall find some marzipan immediately.
Very good. Thank you, Olya.
Pardon me, may I enter, Governor?
Enter.
I come from the capital, sir. There are these papers that need your signature, and if possible, they request your presence in the chamber. If you have time, it is of most
Petrov,
urgent.
Please take a breath. I can barely understand you, Petrov.
Governor, at the capital, urgency, they need you.
Very good. Very good. Well, we shall prepare to depart, I suppose.
Yes, forthwith. I only have the one horse that I rode hard to get here very quickly. I must let him rest and get a new one from your stable if that is possible.
Certainly. I believe that Tatiana Ivanovna is preparing the horses as we speak.
Very good, sir. I shall go down to the stable and await you there.
Very well.
Yes.
Oh, the saddle, it is of a new color for you, Nicholas. Why, the blue in your eyes offsets quite nicely in a complimentary way. So, not an offset as though it were uncomplimentary, but an offset that goes quite well with your saddle. The blue embroidery upon it, oh, it does fit your stallion demeanor quite well.
The comparison in the atmosphere inside versus outside were like night and day. Inside was like a whirl of a tornado, a storm of bustle and hustle and rustle, but outside, Tatiana and the horses were calm. It was like a peaceful day, sun shining, a little bird tweeting. It was a starling, and it sat on a fence right outside the stalls, where Tatiana spoke lovingly to her horses, getting them prepared for their day.
Tatiana Ivanovna, I do not wish to startle you. Are our horses prepared for the trip back to the capital? And please know that, of course, Petrov shall need a horse as well. He has ridden his nearly to exhaustion.
Oh, well, Governor, Nicholas is almost ready for you. I am in mid-saddle, and he is about to have his apple, so he's satiated for the ride and will not cause you a disturbance. It will be a peaceful journey.
Very good.
I pray of you, Governor, stable girl. This urgency is quite real. There are people amassed outside the capital, very unhappy, that need to speak with the governor.
Petrov, she has a name, Petrov. Her name is Tatiana Ivanovna.
I do not have time to learn that. We must away, Governor, please.
Shh, Goldie, shh, shh, it is quite all right. Goldie needs her lullaby, or she will kick back into her stable. She would not be a good ride for you at this moment.
Petrov, you do not wish your horse to kick back into the stable.
No, of course I would not. Perhaps if the horse were not in the stable, but out here that we may mount. I'm sorry, Governor.
Chekhov, your marzipan. You cannot leave without your marzipan, sir. I ran all the way to you. Here you go, sir.
Dear come, oh horsey, dear come.
I drew
It's
a little
best
heart.
to be calm around horses, calm but firm. Horses don't react well to a lot of chaos, and the chaos brought out by Olga and Petrov riled the horses up. They began to kick and buck and neigh loudly and stomp their feet and get very much out of hand. The governor and Tatiana tried their best to calm them down, but it was of no use. They were distraught and trying to break out of the stalls.
I drew a little heart on the marzipan for you, Governor Chekhov, just to brighten your day.
Olia, please keep your voice down. Nicholas is quite disturbed.
Leah, please perhaps pass the marzipan to Goldie. Goldie.
This is for the governor, marzipan for the governor. You cannot give a horse the governor's marzipan.
Shh.
Oh, that's an absurd notion.
Oh, Goldie, please. Shh. The nightingale comes into life and sings you peaceful dreams. No, the nightingale song is not working, Governor.
Getting quite peptic.
This is a disaster.
Perhaps
The journey cannot begin until it can begin safely.
I shall ride my horse then. I shall ride him until he drops.
Petrov, I believe that attitude may have been the issue to start.
Oh, indeed. Your horse looks as though it has been strained for many years and not listened to. Do you ever take the time, sir? Pardon me for speaking out of turn, but do you ever take the time to look into your horse's eyes, notice the breath coming in through each nostril, and how the breath comes out of the nostril, sometimes through the muzzle, just a bit, through the lips, the pursing.
As Tatiana spoke, each person around her suddenly began to feel calmer. The horses quieted down. Petrov even patted his horse on the neck. Olga, too, felt calmer than she had before. She went back into the house to finish up the shushkis. And the governor looked at Tatiana and said something to her, something he had never said to an employee before.
You have breeding above your station. Off we go, Petrov.
Suddenly, Tatiana was alone in the quiet stable. She breathed a sigh of relief, took in the spring air, and sat down on a small chair, satisfied that she had done a good job and that the day would now continue in a much calmer fashion.
Calmness rules the day. It's always good to take a breath and pause before you ride into this capital where there's a riot going on. Thank you to our director, Mike Rock, our technical improviser extraordinaire, Christian, our moderator, Val Coons. You know, if you want to do this, you can learn to do this. Impro Theatre School offers a variety of classes at all levels, and we have class shows all through November, including Love Improvise, Tennessee Williams, which I believe is next, Improvising Shakespeare, and our fellow lab performance troupe, Pulp Playhouse Improvised. Also, more impro episodes of Impro Talk with our director, Mike Rock. A live, intimate conversation with storytellers of all types is available. For more information, go to improtheatre.com. That's theatre with an R-E at the end there. Thanks for watching and supporting our Impro Theater community. Hey, everybody, this is our final show. Turn your cameras back on. Let's say goodbye to everyone in style. Bye, y'all.